I'm going to tie a deer hair emerger, and I've got a size 14 scud hook in the vise here. The thread that I'm going to use is an 8/0, and this is a dark brown. And so I'm just going to get that started about the 2/3 or halfway mark maybe of the hook shank. I'll get the thread started and I'll just clip off the excess. The first material that I'm going to tie in is the deer hair. So I've just got a natural deer hair in terms of its color. I'll take off a section of it. And I'll just give it a trim. I'll run a comb through it just to get off, clean up any of the underfur. And then I am going to stack it, and you don't have to. If you can get it pretty even off the top, you don't have to stack it, but I'll make sure they all line up here. So I'll put it in my stacker, give it a couple of taps, and then I'll have nice even tips to tie in. And so I'll just measure this up just to get a rough idea of where I want it to fall. And then I can come back through and clean up some of these butt sections just so I have less to work with here. So I'll set that right on top, pull it straight down and give it a couple of wraps to get it locked in. Come back through and clean up as much as the excess as I can. Obviously easier when you don't have a camera in front of you. And then I'll just tie in these butt sections. Don't worry if it spins, it may until you get everything else locked down. So really tighten that up. And now I'm just going to try to approximate where I want my shuck to come up. So I'll trim off that excess there. And I'll continue to advance my thread until I've got it just where I want it, up high enough on the hook shank. So that looks pretty good to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one wrap to kind of stand it up, and then I'll take one that goes through it on either direction. So I'll take kind of an X wrap there, and what that does is it opens up the top a little bit. I'm going to bring my thread down and away just so that I can clean up underneath. Now the body for the fly that I'm going to use is a peacock herl. But what I've done is I've taken just a regular pencil eraser and I've applied that to it, and that takes all the sparkle off of it, or all the fibers. If you look at the difference between the two, it cleans it all off, and it makes for nice bodies. You can use quills or whatever you'd like here, but I like using the peacock herl. It's really a tough material. So I'll tie this down. And then I can just start to make my wraps of the herl. And when I get to behind the deer hair, then I can tie that off. And then trim the excess. And again, if you want a lighter body to this, then peacock herl isn't going to be your answer here. Then just to reinforce that, I'm going to take some head cement and just apply it over the peacock. And again, that'll help protect it. And if some of that gets in here at the thorax, I'm fine with that as well, because it's really going to help lock those hairs in place. Alright, now for the thorax, or for the rest of this fly, I'm going to use Hare's Mask. And so while that's drying, I'm going to get my mask out, and whenever I'm working with the naturals, I'll use some dubbing wax, so just get that on the thread, and then I can cut out a piece of and so I'll get that dubbed on there. And then I'll just start to make my wraps. I'm going to take this in front and behind, or behind and in front. Just kind of move that deer hair out of the way as I go. And then when I get to the top, then I can just put in a little thread head here. I'll readjust just slightly in the vise so that I can whip finish. And trim the thread. And it's done. I'll trim up some of these wild hairs as well. But that is my version, or a version, of a deer hair emerger.